The Talking Guys, episode 30. Nope. 43. Not 34. That's already happened. It's in the past.
You're
What did
dyslexic?
it happen?
Maybe I am, but I was never diagnosed.
Well,
You're diagnosed
I mean,
for something, you got to go to a doctor, and I think.
at least you can remember most of what you say, though. So, you haven't gotten to that point yet. All right.
Usually. So, lots to talk about in this episode. The Talking Guys. Wall Street, Scooby-Doo, trucks. Who knows?
Do on Wall Street.
Why is he driving a truck?
Dogs generally drive trucks. In a car?
When was the last time that you'd seen a dog driving a truck?
Yesterday. Patrick was driving his truck.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah, I want to start with that. Or you guys want to go straight
jeans.
into Wall Street?
Jeans,
I don't care what we
t-shirt,
started
you
about.
know. My hat was backwards, with a straight bill.
What's wrong with a backwards hat with a straight bill?
You know, just trying to be as much of a loving, truck driver as I could be. So
You
don't mind me.
liking your truck than Patrick?
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. So what made you decide to get rid of the Lexus?
Because it was old and causing me problems finally, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore, man. I'm sick of it.
Moral of the story: when something gets old, throw it away.
Yeah. Well, I didn't technically throw it away. Somebody has it still. It's still around. They were just getting the title from me the other
No.
day, so
They smashed it. Or
I don't know what they ended up doing, if they parted out the vehicle or what.
they smashed it at a junkyard.
So why a truck?
I don't know. I just felt like it was, time of my life. I needed a truck for the utility, because we're moving, getting older. There's more use for it. I feel like, as a younger kid, it's like, not saying that people don't have uses for trucks, but I feel like a lot of people just jump on the truck bandwagon. They spend a lot of money on something, and they actually don't use it for like what it's supposed to be used for. So hopefully,
So you're telling me that you utilize your truck for its capabilities at hauling
but
items?
that's why it broke. So
But
I
you
learned my
broke the
lesson.
truck.
Mm-hmm. You didn't know about that?
No. What?
My truck has been broken for a month.
No, it hasn't.
$6,668 in repairs.
Okay. What exactly did you do to
But
cause
luckily, it was under warranty, so I only had to pay like $339 out of pocket. Thank God. So I've been bumming rides for a month after just buying a new vehicle.
What happened?
Basically, I allowed a friend to drive my truck to another state while I was in another state myself, because I flew. And poor dude got stuck on the side of the road. I feel like, he was driving 100 miles an hour. He wore the engine out. Just boom, blew the engine.
Sounds like an asshole.
Exactly. And so it got stuck in Shreveport. It's been like literally like 200 I don't know, like 4 hours away from where we live.
204 hours.
No,
A lot of hours.
It's like 256 miles or something like that. It's like it ends up being about 4 hours or so. And they finally finished fixing it, going through the whole warranty process. So I got it back, and it seems to be running fine now. So
Okay, so it was an engine failure problem.
it was something with the engine. They had to, I think it's a new camshaft, all new lifters, a lot of shit.
The passenger side head was pretty screwed.
Yeah.
Nothing that this friend who was driving it could have done about it. But
Except
happened
for
to
drive
anybody
safer
anywhere
and with loving caring
Oh, see,
kindness and respect for a
so
truck.
I drove his truck for about a
My
week, and
baby didn't have
I've
a
treated it better
problem.
than he has in the time he's had it. Just saying.
My baby didn't have a single problem, and this
Oh, it
dude
did.
takes it, and in
It
one
had a
weekend.
problem.
So I mean,
What kind of truck is it?
it's a 2017 Chevrolet 1500 Z71.
Damn. Okay.
It's maroon and
A
black.
lot of letters in them.
Yeah, and it's got like a big black grill on the front of it.
What's that thing called?
I think it's a cattle grill, something along those lines. And then it's slightly raised. I'm not sure exactly how much.
I don't think so. I think it's just bigger wheels
You really think?
and a leveling kit.
Big wheels.
Leveling
So
kit.
overall upgrade, then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. It's very big, and that's another thing. I'm a tall person, right? And they don't really make cars are not made to fit tall people. I mean, a lot of them they're okay, but they're not great. Seth's car is okay. I'm not gonna lie. I've been in it, and for being a tall person, I feel like it's pretty comfortable. Like
My
it gives you a
BMW
lot
is
of leg
super
room and
comfortable
stuff.
for tall people in the
But
front.
the majority of cars are not as comfortable as that. And I thought about buying either a truck or some sort of SUV, like a Yukon or I don't know, along those lines. I looked at a lot of different ones because I thought maybe I'll like drive Uber or something again. 'Cause you make a lot of money, and if I would get like I wanted to find like a really nice SUV, and then just like
Yeah, but think of the amount of people that you could throw in the bed of your truck.
yeah. So I at the end of the day, it came down to I felt like the truck would have more utility just because it doesn't have a ceiling on it, so you can put things that wouldn't like fit in an SUV,
Like
obviously,
buildings stuff.
like beds and furniture that we like found on Craigslist and wanted to buy or whatever, you know.
Trucks
Um,
also come with more street cred.
yeah, that's true. People are scared of me now. I get to look down at everybody. I drive by cars. I'm like, hello, hello, you short little thing to my left that I can barely see without peering over my window and downwards.
Yeah, well, I
So, I
can
mean,
also imagine that with your budget, you probably are able to afford a nicer truck for the same price as a more basic SUV because the SUV prices are ridiculous.
yeah. Although the ones that I looked at seemed like they had pretty good interiors. I never actually went and like looked at them physically. I just looked at lots of pictures and looked at a lot of different vehicles. Um, but yeah, probably. Uh, the only thing that worried me about this buying this truck was the engine is one of those engines that switches from a V8 to a V4, and I've heard that there's a lot of like issues with the engine. So then $6,600 later or whatever it ended up being. I guess there really is now. Whether that was because of that or just bad design or what, I don't. I feel like it is a little bit worrisome when you buy a vehicle and it only has 100,000 miles on the engine and the engine's already messing up. That's not a good sign.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is with the type of wheels truck has, the cattle guard, all that stuff. The fact that it doesn't look like it's ever left the road once means that some kid bought it and probably ragged the hell out of it. Stupid stuff.
Yeah. So that's my worry. Just because there's a lot of computers and technology behind it, so it's not like a real good old truck, where it just it just
Wait,
has.
sorry to interrupt, but you'd said that it lowers the cylinders and it goes to four.
Mm-hmm. to supposedly help with gas mileage.
That's
Although it
a
doesn't really get great gas mileage, so I don't get really.
I don't. I mean, I think there's something wrong with that feature on your truck, and maybe it was because the engine was messing up when I was driving it. Because whenever I test drove same year, back when it was brand new, and it like if you go consistently at the same speed, it would drop your cylinders. That's what it's supposed to do to save you gas. So on the highway and stuff, your truck only did it when you slowed down. It didn't do it when you just held the speed on the highway. So it's because it's supposed to do it more. But yeah, no, I mean that's a very common thing in trucks now. Most of them have Eco V8s or something like that is what they're called, but a lot of trucks have that.
Cool. The more
Which is
you,
cool.
the more you know.
Get lower 20s instead of 15 on the highway generally. It's not too
Okay.
bad.
Compared to previous, because I know you've owned cars before, Patrick. Car buying process and COVID. What's the difference?
Nothing,
Really?
to be honest with you. I mean, besides wearing a mask, and I guess, I mean, there wasn't that many people, buying vehicles, so it was. I feel like they were a little bit more desperate to sell a vehicle. Maybe that's the feeling I got when I went in there.
The
And
whole walkout technique always works.
yeah, and I was like, blah blah blah. Did my whole wheel and deal with them. Did the whole, dance, the charade, the parade of,
Wait, they
oh,
make you dance there?
yeah, yeah. You got to be like, oh well, I'm not sure if I really want it. I got to think about it. Maybe I just need a day to go home and I'll just think about it and I'll come back. And they know that you're not going to come back, so then they're like, well, let me go talk to my manager. 4 hours later, you're like, you know what? I gotta go. I'll be back tomorrow. I think I just want to sleep on it. I, I mean, it's a beautiful truck, but it's just I don't know. Price doesn't seem right, and just doesn't make sense with me financially. And then I got coaching from my bro, so
Very good at screwing
he
over
coached
people
me
who
down,
do screw people over for a living.
and they gave
Kind of the
me
skill.
probably way more money than they should have for my vehicle. So, but I did put a lot of money down. So, like I put like $4,000 down payment.
Yeah. Two biggest things when you're buying a vehicle, or I guess leasing or financing, is one, having good credit, obviously, and two,
They'll sell to anybody.
yeah, but having a higher credit, you can lower your monthly
Yeah,
payments,
by a lot.
and putting a significant amount of money down will also help with the overall payments. So
Yeah.
it's better to put more money down than to pay longer, because the longer you're paying out, the more money you're actually losing because of interest.
Kind
And I
of.
forgot to mention too that, my car, the electrical systems were like messing up on it too. And I couldn't use like my radio or like my auxiliary cords anymore on it. And there was no touch screen. The whole touch screen had turned off. And that attached to my air conditioning. So I didn't even have air conditioning in it. Even though it still works, it needs a new computer to make it work right, or somebody smart enough to go in there and tear it apart and figure out what part of the whole computer is messed up, and maybe they could refix it. I'm not sure, but
German engineering.
yeah. So it was
That's
like,
not a
that was
German
another
car.
big reason why I switched, just because I got sick of it. So now I have air conditioning. I have Bose speaker system and Bose, Boys, whatever, same thing.
No, it's not.
Bose, the Bose speaker system. It's French. Don't hate on it. Um, every time I turn the car on, it's like, says some French words. I don't know. Couldn't tell you what they are, but they're there. And that's really cool because I never had a vehicle like I can connect with Bluetooth, etc. It has like 4 USB cables, like directly at the front, so you can plug in all your phones and gadgets and stuff while you're driving. So pretty cool. Spent a lot of money. Don't regret it. Glad to have it back. I guess, live your dreams, kids.
Wait,
I wanna
live or leave?
Live your dreams, man.
leave them in the past. Dreams are for losers.
I bought another pair of cowboy boots, a big a big belt buckle, everything.
Man, when you're driving a truck like that, might as well.
I got the leather, whats. They're on their way. I'm gonna put them on the back.
So what now, Patrick?
The what? You know what I'm saying? Mix a little.
For the boots.
Literally never going there with you. That
No, you know how you'll see those trucks that are like super lifted, and then they have like the leather balls on the back of the truck hanging from it, swinging. You've never seen that? Well,
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
and I always thought, like, what goes through somebody's mind if that's what they're gonna put on their truck? I was like, what goes through their mind? And you know, I can't help but make a joke about it. So that, and like the ones that put the big old like cattle horns, like the actual horns on the front of their truck. I'm like, yo, what purpose does that serve? Please tell
I
me.
mean, in case you need to run someone over and your truck doesn't do the work, you can kind of like swerve at the last second, hit them with a horn.
Oh,
Perfect.
wow.
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense. Why don't you just put spikes on your wheels like
No,
they
no,
do
no,
in
no.
Ben
No.
Hur or whatever, and
No.
they're hitting each other's
That
chariots with
wouldn't
the
even
spikes
do
and
it,
just
dude.
destroying it. I don't know. I see big rigs running that all the time. I'm like, you guys are scary. Have you seen that where they literally have like those big things? Those would tear a car apart.
Yeah, it's in like the front wheels, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's actually by design. I think it's a safety feature for them.
Yeah, unless they fall asleep, and that's a extra
See,
hurting.
you're not supposed to fall asleep. So
Yeah, well, you know what? They drive long hours and cheat the system and say that they went to sleep when they really didn't. So, that's why they fall asleep all the time. Or not all the time, but whenever they do, it's like a big, deal because they end up like hurting a lot of people or shutting a highway down for like half the day. So, anyways, yeah, no, I'm not ordering any of that. I don't want a big leather balls hanging from the back of my truck. I promise you I won't do it.
Betty will.
But I
Betty
did get a
will.
real tree logo that I'm gonna put on the back. Wait, I mean, what? My bad. Sorry.
I don't know what that is.
The
I have
deer.
a hard time believing that. I know where you live. Every single truck has a real tree
Every
sticker
single
on it.
truck in the city that you live in has that
Wow.
on the back of their little back window, and you're like, wow.
Also,
I've never seen
probably
that before.
tattooed on the driver's forehead, more than likely.
Yeah, no,
It's a
I've
teardrop. It's a real tree teardrop coming down the sides. Like, this is how many of my boys had trucks and lost them, to remember them. And then the other side would be, I don't know what.
I thought the teardrop tattoo meant something else.
It probably does.
Like lost, killed. Things what.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, this is all the trucks that my truck is taller than.
Oh
And it
God.
goes down the neck into the shirt. He has to, every time he sees a truck that he's taller than. I'm
Straight.
getting good ideas right now. Truck drivers, listen here. We're gonna change the world.
Overall, are you more
Right.
satisfied with it than your previous vehicle?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so new, It feels so nice. The chairs are really comfortable. I feel like I like the back seat. I mean, I just like it. It's good. The only thing I dislike is that the gas mileage sucks compared to like a car. So Seth's over here getting like 40 miles to the gallon, and I'm having to put 2.5 gallons of gas in my car for every 1 gallon he uses. So it
Nice.
definitely is a gas guzzler, but it's crazy enough. The insurance actually went down too. So don't ask me how.
Run over a truck and you driving,
Mhm.
True, true.
especially since you have a cattle guard. Can get you into
Yeah.
trouble when you're rearing somebody, but boy, will you still be okay.
I need to get a one of those pulley systems on the front. So if
Oh,
I
yeah.
want
Like a
to,
wench.
yeah. So if I want to, I can like pull people out. It's 4-wheel drive, you know. I said I'm not buying
That's
a. It's
why would
dumb. It's so dumb to buy a truck without 4-wheel drive. And this is a
if
very popular opinion, and somebody on this channel does not know what they're talking about.
just real quick, I was kind of curious. How many times have you even switched into 4-wheel drive?
6 times.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
because I haven't owned the
Yeah,
vehicle for a month.
you haven't actually done it. And
Yes, I
what is the
have.
difference between 4-wheel up, 4-wheel down?
Uh, 4-wheel down is, how does it work again? Lower. It has lower. It's in lower gear, so it has more torque to it. And then up is in a higher gear. So depending on what you're doing with it, you can switch between the two. Is that not correct? I'm pretty sure that's correct, roughly. Why are you looking at me like that?
We can go roughly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never actually
kind
had a
of the
vehicle.
gist, but definitely the wrong explanation because
Okay.
you're in the same gears and stuff. Like obviously, transmission has extra
So what's the
gears.
difference? What does it do? How does it change it? What does
It's
low and
for
up
like
mean?
it's for what you're trying to do. Use yeah, it is. It's a torque thing. You got more
More
torque
for
and
towing,
down.
right?
So I mean, you want more torque if you're trying to off road and stuff. I believe the way it goes. But like you want more torque if you're trying if you need more, but you don't want to use that going faster than I believe. Like I mean, so like you don't want to do that. Well, you don't want to run 4-wheel on the highway no matter what, but you don't want to tow something in the low. You want to use it to like yank on something or get out of mud or something.
Or run
It's
someone over.
The cool thing is
no, because you want
the
speed for that.
on the truck you can it has like 4 different settings, right? So it has 2-wheel drive, the 2 different 4-wheel drive settings, and it has auto. And so you can turn it on auto, and it'll basically just run in 2-wheel drive until it's like, something's going wrong here. I need to change to 4-wheel. So
Actually, my vehicle's got 4 wheels I drive on.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
nice. Mine only has 3. A little wobbly.
I'm really interested to see when we move, and it snows more, like how 4-wheel drive will work in the snow. If it'll help it at all, if it'll just be nothing. Depends on how much snow, I guess.
I'll give us an update when that happens.
Yes, sir. We'll do. Experiment.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna go mudding too, just so I can prove to him that I do indeed use it.
It's not what it's meant for. Like that's just what the stupid kids do.
Yeah.
Tear up
No,
their
I'm not going.
vehicles.
I'm not going mudding. Um,
And if
I
you're
feel.
listening, Tyler,
I feel like at the end of the day, it's something that, while yes, you're not going to use it every day, it's one of those great. It falls into the euphemism of, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
no,
So one of
doesn't.
these
It
days,
doesn't fall
I'm
into
gonna
that.
I'm gonna save some poor person's vehicle that's stuck on the side of the road, and I'm gonna use 4-wheel drive, and I'm gonna pull it out from where it's stuck, and it's gonna be like, see, I knew I needed it. So
Unless it's Seth, you can just let him sit on the side of the road, right?
well, yeah, no,
This
come
isn't
on,
one of those things that fall under that.
it is, dude.
No, because if you don't have it, you'll still be okay. It's not like they use that one for like tasers and stuff like that. Like because if you need it, you really need it. If you don't, like if you need it like in 4-wheel drive and you don't have it, you're just inconvenienced.
I mean, I definitely can see some very good uses when it comes to like pulling things out of places, getting yourself out of places, getting other vehicles out of places. Like, remember that day that truck got stuck in the freaking ditch and we had to push it out, Seth? Wouldn't have happened if it was 4-wheel drive
I don't.
at the
Yeah.
bar. Remember the bar? The
Oh
Dick's
yeah.
back, yeah. Wouldn't have needed it if it had been a four-wheel drive, but he's a little pleb and had two-wheel drive. So his two wheels got stuck in a big ditch and he couldn't get out. So four men had to push that truck while he was pushing the gas to get it to uncome out of a ditch that was only like 2 feet deep and a little bit wet. Disrespectful to the truck and to the owner. That's all I'm saying. Okay, into conversation. I feel like we should move on to something else. We've talked about trucks a lot. Uh,
Well, I'm
but
happy for you, Patrick.
there is one. I just thought of one right off the dome of in the last two years it happened right
Okay.
before we moved to BR.
Anyways, you can think of one. That's cool. I will be buying a truck and it will be having 4-wheel drive, but I also will be
Oh,
using said 4-wheel drive for
I will use it,
hunting and camping and stuff like that.
but it's been COVID this year, so hopefully when we move, we'll have a lot more opportunity to use it. Because we do
Yeah,
plan to go
I
camping and
have a
stuff,
feeling it's gonna be a
and you'll
lot
be
of,
sick.
"Hey Patrick, can I borrow your truck?" That's what it's gonna be.
Why? You don't think
Huh?
I'm gonna go camping with you?
So, well, I mean,
Son, I used to go camping all the
no,
time.
I mean, I feel like you will if you have the opportunity. Our schedules are gonna be off. Schedules are gonna be super off.
Yeah, true. That's true. Damn. Well, you never know what's gonna happen. So only time will tell.
Well, I'm assuming y'all had heard about what happened recently on Wall Street.
Hmm.
No, I live under a rock, so have not heard. Tell me what happened.
Patrick?
I heard about it. Yes, sir.
No, that was your cue to be like, yeah, I'll explain what happened.
Oh, I'm the expert.
Oh, dude. Okay, fine.
I'll give you the basic rundown, and then somebody else can give you the in tune, paid attention more than they should to it,
I mean, more
version.
than I should. Anyway, sorry.
So,
You go.
if you didn't know, which I feel like if you haven't heard about it, you are definitely living under a rock. Uh, but
Hey,
anyways,
maybe the rock is comfortable.
if you hadn't
I don't
heard
see
about
how.
it, a bunch of redditors, just regular old dudes using a app called Robinhood, which allows you to buy partial stocks, so it's way cheaper. And it's I do they have a brokerage fee on it, Seth? Like where you have to pay
I'm
to trade?
no, not.
Okay,
I think once you get to a certain level, you do, but as a
yeah.
beginner investor, you don't.
Yeah. So it's a way for people to that don't know anything about investing to get into investing, and it's supposedly not as risky. Obviously, it's still the stock market, so it's always risky. If you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money or get a lot of money depending on your ideas. So I guess these guys on there that were on Reddit, they had a Reddit and a Discord called
Wall Street bets.
Wall Street Bets. Figured out that somebody was shorting GameStop stocks. And so to basically play a very mean trick and turn their bet against them, they bought tons of the stock. So it made the stock price rise. And those people that had shorted the stock had to keep putting more and more cash in order to keep their position. And it became so much that they had to put like $16 billion or something like that into the position to keep it afloat. The person who had shorted it at initially lost like $3 billion in one day or whatever it was, a week, not very long. And then another hedge fund. By the way, these are hedge fund managers. So this is the the whole controversy of it is that this is something that like hedge fund managers do all the time. They just don't make as big a move to where you notice it as much, right? Because the thing is with the GameStop is first off, it's not a profitable company and very well could go bankrupt in the next year or two.
Most
So
likely, yes.
it is not a smart thing to invest in GameStop and definitely not in their stock at all. Like because you are going to lose your money probably in the end. So long term, a lot of these guys are going to lose a lot of money that bought all this GameStop stock because nobody's going to. I don't think you can just sell the stock. Somebody has to buy the stock, isn't it? Isn't aren't I
Oh,
correct in
you can
that?
You
sell
could
it all.
sell it, but you'd most likely be selling it for a loss.
Yeah.
All
So
depends.
it will go back down, and when it does, all the people that bought it at the very high valuation are going to lose a lot of money also. So lots of people are going to be losing money here. Um, but by the time that happens, the hedge funds will have lost their money. Like it, I because the position they took is so like they basically got screwed by a bunch of guys on the internet, and they're very mad about it. Uh, So Robinhood stopped trading for whatever reason, whether it was to stop it from happening, because it is unhealthy for the economy. It's not a good thing for the economy.
Well, now there's
Um,
COVID, but you know.
but I think a lot of people were angry by it because it's something that Wall Street elites and these guys with these astronomically large sums of money from investors giving them tons of money. They do this all the time. They manipulate the markets for their own purposes. A I watched a thing, I think it was Joe Rogan or somebody, but they had like a guy, I think it was like a year ago, a hedge fund manager went on CNN and said that all the hotels were going to like go bankrupt, and everybody panic sold, and he bought all the panic sell and made $2 billion. So this is not something that is not infrequently done. They use social media and news coverage to get people's emotions to rise, and then because people get emotional, they make bad decisions, and they capitalize on people making bad decisions. That's what the majority of hedge funds do in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not to that drastic of a measure. So a lot of people are just mad at it because they stopped them from doing it, and people were trying to save the hedge fund managers or whatever. A lot of like corporate elites, people in government, but in turn, there's also a lot of people that government included, and like Elon Musk and stuff that were like, haha, good one. So pretty
Yeah.
controversial in general, but I think that's like the broad overview of it.
Yeah, I've also noticed that. Oh, go ahead, Seth.
I was just gonna explain what short selling is. Um, like so when which is what the hedge fund Melvin Capital did. They it's basically betting that the um company will so the stock will drop, and if you're right, you make money off it. If you're wrong, you pay out the dividend. So like say it's at 20 and it raises to 200, you have to pay $180. So like you're betting that it'll drop, and if it doesn't, you pay out the amount it goes up. Which is why this has cost them so much, which has been billions of dollars. Because it was at $20, and yeah, I know it made it up to 500 something dollars a share. Right now it's sitting at like 300 something. Um, and
Man,
so they're having to pay out for every single share. They're having to pay out, the difference between what that 20 and what it currently is.
I could be wrong, but isn't it also that you have a lot of people that are borrowing people's money and then hoping to sell it to somebody else for a higher rate before they have to pay that back to the person they borrowed the money from?
Kind of. So here's I actually saw this. I'm gonna read it from this because it was actually a really good explanation of what's going on. But so say you borrow your friend's video game, um, uh, because that GameStop right now is buying it for $10, and you're guessing that next week they'll be selling it at 5. So you sell your friend's game for 10, planning on buying it back for 5 and giving your friend back their game and pocket the difference. Um, the only problem is, someone else bought the game before you could. In fact, they bought them all. And with the game becoming more popular, the selling price goes to 15, then 25, etc. Your friend is asking for their game back, so now you have no choice but to buy it back at 25, losing $15. So That's pretty much what happened. Like, so now they have no choice but to buy it back at the new price. Kind
Wow.
of. It's pretty,
And yeah, it's just really funny. I feel like they had all sorts of people saying all sorts of people on Wall Street saying, well, maybe we need to have regulations and stuff for this. And it's like these are the dudes that never want any regulation because they make a bunch of money off of the least amount of government intervention possible. The more money they can make off the stock market.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny to see the reactions. I felt like the public reactions of people, and a little bit worrisome too.
Yeah, because it's caused the stock prices of nearly everything to drop.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's affecting a lot of things because they're making something that is not worth money, like
Yeah.
GameStop and also AMC, like companies that will be gone within
Yeah.
probably a lot sooner. They're making them worth billions of dollars when they're not actually worth billions of dollars. There's
Yeah.
no viable like I mean the company give them $10 billion and they still are going to fail because they're they're there's no need for them anymore. Yes, like online games are replacing GameStop.
Steam, Epic Games.
Streaming movies are replacing movie theaters. Like they're going to fail, and you're just throwing a bunch of money at a failing stock, and it's causing a domino effect across the board.
Yeah. So honestly, but with the stock prices going down and everything else, now is probably not a bad time to start buying other stocks because you know companies like Microsoft and Google and Apple, their prices are going to go back up.
You just have to be very careful
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it never reacts the way you think it's going to. And then with the way our, COVID has affected the economy and all the overstimulation of money that's been put into the economy over the last year, like most of the stock markets are at or have been in the recent months at all-time highs. And it's been a bull market for super long. And at some point, it's going to stop. So you've got to be a little bit careful of just jumping in, um, because you never know what kind of money you could lose if you buy stuff and then it ends up their stocks go down in price a lot. So
yeah. But without risk, there is no reward.
Nope.
right,
But yeah, and I
and
mean, so as a independent investor myself, I've lost money on this, but I also think it's hilarious, like that they because I mean it's really just a screw you to this big hedge fund who publicly made it known that what they were going to do, and so they made some people on the internet mad, and they retaliated back and cost this company billions. Not just this company, two other companies also tried to bail them out, and it cost them another 3 billion between those two companies. Like so, it's three major like hedge funds are out billions of dollars because they pissed off some people on the internet, which I think is hilarious. And it's nice to know that the little people or what they say in like on Wall Street, the dumb money, the investors who are just putting in their own money instead of like a corporation are able to affect everything this month. I think that's cool. But also, we should probably stop and let things go back to normal. And then just, maybe keep reminding them every once in a while that we're still here.
Yeah, moving forward, do you think this will draw any awareness
Yeah, I mean,
to what's happening, or
I feel like it will, and I also feel like a lot of hedge funds will be a lot more secretive about what they're doing. So, 'cause
yeah,
see what could
mistake
happen
number
if
one.
they make one person mad.
Mistake number one: when you're doing something that involves a lot of money, don't tell people. I mean, you think it would be common practice, but just don't tell people, and definitely don't put it online because that's where they went wrong. Is they put, I guess they wrote an entire article about why it would be a good idea to short GameStop, and you could make all this money, blah 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 on it. Um, and people got them, and now they're mad about it.
imagine?
I think the controversy was though is not that they did this because it's like like they did it, But the fact that like Reddit and Discord both hopped on board and just deleted the entire subreddit and the Discord in literally like a few hours, to stop them from doing this. I think that was kind of crazy to see how fast they, you know, yes, they're doing something that, but it's like it was very interesting to see all the again overreach of these companies that it's like I'm pretty sure there's nowhere in their terms and conditions that if you have a discord about stock market and you make people lose money on the stock market that's like a breach of your terms and conditions. And I heard also that there people are filing a class action lawsuit against Robinhood for stopping them from trading, um, and all sorts of fun. So
I don't know if I'll be able to get that though.
So
Reddit,
do you
But
think,
maybe I should jump in on that last.
Reddit, you know,
no, I don't think Reddit should have done that.
no, all I'm saying is, do you think they deleted these subreddits in the Discord because financially it will affect them
Probably.
and in some sort of way because they are probably profiting with the other, um, these large corporations that make money off of other corporations going out of business buy stocks.
Well, I can pretty much guarantee that the especially Reddit with how big it is, but probably Discord also has. Well, I know they have like some of these big hedge funds in like investing in them,
Invested in
owning
them,
their
yeah.
stocks, and so I'm sure that a lot of people got a lot of pressure to do stuff. Um,
Hmm.
Money talks.
I don't know if they gave into that pressure, but I'm sure they got emails and phone calls telling them what they need to do if they want they don't want these people to
If
back
they
out
want
or whatnot.
continued support, because um, exactly, you're right. They're most likely people that have invested a lot of money into Reddit, that have invested money into GameStop and AMC, that may or may not have been part of shorting it, and they didn't like what happened, and so they said, "Hey,
No, and
we're not telling you to do it, but it might be beneficial to you if you were to do it."
Right? Oh, yeah, never know. I
I
know.
think
I was gonna say a lot of people are getting mad at Robinhood for and other people. I just don't remember names like E Trade and something. But anyways, Robinhood and other people for stopping the trading of GameStop. Well, not the trading, the buying. You were still allowed to sell it, so you weren't stuck with
You
it.
couldn't buy any
Yeah,
more stock.
you weren't stuck with it in case if it just like dropped and you were just straight up stuck with it. Like you were able to sell, but you couldn't buy. Um, and I don't know the exact reasons. I did watch a whole interview with the CEO of Robinhood, and he said it had to do with for one the market itself and just trying not to make everything just go insane, and but most importantly, did it make sense for them because they have to in most cases, in a lot of cases, they front money
Yeah,
until your bank account or whatever sends the money over to them. Like you buy a stock, you get it immediately.
they've got to put it up
So if you put in
until they receive money
$100,
from
yeah,
you.
they pay $100 until your bank sends them $100, and at the volume that it was selling, you like that is billions of dollars that they're having to now throw out there and wait for their money to come back and at
Hoping,
you
yeah.
can't. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure your money will come back because your bank has to approve it before the transaction will finish. But that's a lot of money to be throwing out. I have
Taking
no
a really
idea how
big risk.
much, but yeah, yeah, and so it makes sense that these smaller companies are like, I can't afford to spend, put out $1 billion and hope that it comes back tomorrow. If it doesn't, maybe the next day. Who knows?
no, it's
Yeah, I think there was more to it, like you were just saying, than what people initially thought with Robinhood and these other trading companies. Um, but I think people were really quick to assume, um, and they immediately, go after, especially like the Google Play Store. People were review bombing
They
Robinhood.
deleted over 200,000 reviews because Robinhood went to 1 star
Yeah,
and now it's back to 4 stars, which again is I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's definitely a reason. I feel like you should have power to do some stuff like that, but again, it's like, how much is too much when it comes to the decisions that some of these make. And I think a lot of people at the end of the day, like a lot of people, what they're saying is like, you know, oh, when some poor schmuck gets you, uh, elites are always just going in to protect another elite, and they're you know, when they do it to us and they make a killing off of dumb investors, because that's a term, dumb money. They make fun of them all the time for making bad decisions. Then when they get screwed in the same turn, well, they can't take it. Instead, they're like, "Oh, it's not fair. We need regulations. We need rules. Let's delete the Reddit, delete the Discord, do all these things." But they don't do it and turn back to the same people that I think the whole point of this was, yeah, like it's sticking it to them. But like I said, a lot of people that bought into GameStop, a lot of people are still going to lose money in the long term off of this stock. Okay, so it's not like it was not a great financial decision for the people that did it to do it the way they did, unless they bought in at the beginning before it started surging and then sold out while it was still surging. But so they might have made some people might have made a lot of money off of it, right? But it's like that's not healthy for the economy. And I think the biggest thing is that th- that's what's wrong with the stock market, is that you can even do stupid crap like that, because the stock market no longer is just based off of the valuation of what the companies actually are worth, and instead it's based off of what speculation. And when people speculate, they increase and lower the value of a company that's actually fine, that's doing good or not, doesn't matter. Because you could do this to Elon Musk's company, or you could do this to Amazon. You could do that to any kind of stocks. It would be more costly to do it to a big stock like that. But when you speculate like they do, and that's how they make so much money off of it, it not only does it create lots of volatility, makes is not healthy for the economy in any way, shape, or form, um, but it's not healthy for the companies either, that their stocks rise all of a sudden to this crazy price, or go up for no reason when they didn't even do anything that should mean that their company is worth more money, etc. So I feel like a lot of people, um, this is just showing the hypocrisy of what's been going on in our stock market. And basically they're betting. It's like a casino, right? Instead of like taking instead of saying, hey, Amazon's this great company, like we were talking about them last episode. Amazon's this great company. They're providing all this value, jobs, they have all this infrastructure. I mean, they're revolutionizing the economy and the business, and they're making this a great thing. This is what their stock's worth. Instead, it's like, well, it's kind of worth that, but now let's add on however much, because people wanted it to add on and got it the hype train, and so now it's worth this much, but it's really not worth that much. So eventually, it's going to go back down to a semi regular place. Then, if somebody buys or sells too much of it, you can swing it back and forth, and people make money off of doing that. And that's how all these hedge funds managers and people that play the stock markets, that's how they make their money, is basically by like manipulating the system. Not to the extent that these redditors did it, because it went up like what, 1700, 2000% of what the stock was actually worth. That's not good. But you swing it 5% one way, and you knew it was happening, you knew it was coming, and you sold, and people are like, ooh, look at the stock's going up, it's worth some money, so everybody buys in. And it was a false thing. It's not really real. Tricked all these people to give all this money for the stock, and then it goes back to the price and you lose all this money. and somebody makes money off of it because they knew about it, guessed it, whatever. So it's like that's I think that was the most interesting part or takeaway that I got from it is just,
Didn't they say that? I thought I read an article where it said the guy that had actually petitioned, the redditor that had petitioned to do this, made like $17 million at one point. I don't think he
I'm
has that currently, but I think at
I'm
one point that's how much he had.
sure he did. I'm sure he did.
yeah, so he
There,
made
there,
it
there
give
are a
or
lot of.
take.
I'm seeing a lot of stories of people putting in like $5,000 and pulling out 50. Like,
Yeah, imagine like the night before, because I think Thursday was like the biggest swing, right? Because that morning I think it was the highest, and I think it's kind of dipped since Thursday.
it's
Um,
been constantly dipping, which I can kind of.
Yeah,
If
it's
I
been
don't
a
know how well
continuous
you can
dip.
see it, and I got to make sure it won't show any of my stuff.
yeah, I think it's crazy.
Yeah,
Imagine like Wednesday
it
night
won't
going
show
to
any of my
bed.
stuff. So can you guys see this?
Mhm.
That's been the pattern of it in the past week.
That spike is Thursday, though, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
okay,
So and at that spike on Thursday, it peaked at 468, and then it took a huge dip and then came back up. Like you can see where where Robinhood stopped everything, and then it came back up because people were trying to jump back on it, which was a bad idea, and then it's just gonna keep on going. If you didn't get on
Yeah,
it in the first day, don't put your money on it.
yeah,
Like
it's too late
don't
now.
don't don't put your money on it. Yeah, you put in like right now it's 312. You spend 312 for a share. That 312 is gonna be gone.
Wait, can you actively buy it? Because
Mhm.
I
You can
know
actively buy.
that Robinhood had
I
brought back that there was like
believe
a
they
limited
they have
availability.
restrictions, so I believe
Okay,
you can only buy in full shares, which normally you can buy in partials, but I'm pretty sure you can only buy in full shares right now.
yeah, so the full
It
shares what
doesn't it
three
doesn't
something.
actually say. It doesn't actually say.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a yeah they. But right now, like, it went back up again because people were all of a sudden allowed to buy, and they're like, "Oh, this is a great idea," because I've heard all these stories. Not a great idea. Um, I would say if you have money in it, sell it now. That's my
Yeah,
opinion. I'm not a professional, but you'll thank me later.
yeah. So, very interesting. Um, and probably shouldn't do this too often.
Yeah, 11% of professionals say buy right now. So yeah,
Yeah,
don't do it. Majority of them are saying sell. So
but there's a chance.
there's a
it could
chance. I mean,
it could spike again.
there are still like people who are just now like reading about it and like, oh my god, like let's go ahead and let's just throw 100 and like, all it takes is quite a few people throwing $100 at it, and it could spike again, but odds are it probably won't. GameStop.
Yeah, yeah. Even the last 5 years, the focus hasn't been on games. It hasn't been forever. It's more of pushing, merchandise like collectibles and posters and movies.
And I mean
And
it's because they've been
phones,
trying to come
phone
up with new
trade-ins,
stuff.
etc.
They've been trying to come up with new stuff to make it work, but most all games are don't need the physical copy. Why people buy the physical copy because you might
Yeah, I
break
haven't.
the physical copy. But it is
Yeah,
what it
my
is.
Steam library doesn't break; it's just there.
Yeah, not like convenience of being able to, buy something digitally. You know, um, I know one of the biggest knocks against GameStop, and obviously people joke about it, and it's rightfully so, is just the trade-in values
They're
of
terrible.
yeah, and I don't think they were ever great. And I know companies, out to make a profit, but when you've got people that joke about, oh hey, you can go to GameStop and sell this for $4, you know,
And then they
I
sell it for 25. You're like, really?
yeah, I think at some point, yes, you have to make a profit. Every business exists to make a profit, otherwise they wouldn't exist. Um, well, I guess that's not entirely true because you have nonprofit businesses that are pretty much solely supported on donations, but for-profit businesses like GameStop.
Yeah, but the only reason people can give donations to those is because they made a profit and have extra money to spend on it. So
Or
nonprofits,
for, tax purposes. Um,
right?
I, I think they were overly aggressive with their inflation costs, and the karma's catching up. This
Yeah,
is and the convenience of being able to have something delivered to you, whether it's through Amazon or it's digital, like a song or a movie or a game, and not having to worry about interacting with other people. Um, I had an argument the other day because someone was upset with Amazon, and they said Amazon's, getting rid of brick and mortar stores. And yeah, I can see that. And it's unfortunate that you have these local shops that are small places that are run by families usually, that are getting hit. And, I don't think there's a way to prevent that from happening. However, I liked buying through Amazon because if I have an issue with an item, I can return it. No questions asked.
simple as
I
this.
don't have to
It's
go
convenient, man.
wait in a line at Walmart
It's convenient.
and then deal with an associate that doesn't care about me, that doesn't want to be there. Usually they're rude. I don't have to deal with that. And that's why I don't shop there and I'd prefer going somewhere else, like Amazon. Customer service I think is one of the other big driving factors of where we're heading. Just because, so many people that work in these, minimum wage jobs aren't happy, and their lack of customer service causes people to,
But you got to think, why are they not happy?
well, a lot of reasons. But I think if you're
Yeah,
going
I feel
to
like it
work,
goes way deeper than just it's like, people aren't happy, and there's all these people that are unhappy that are in all these businesses, and we constantly run into people that are unhappy. Like, what does that say about our society as a whole? You know, like, are we taking care of people? Are we doing right by people? Who knows?
I
But
don't
I
know.
think
I mean,
it is funny, like, or not funny. I guess that's the wrong way to say it. Just because I meet unhappy people everywhere I go, and then sometimes you do meet happy people, and the sad thing is that it's a rarity.
yeah,
Like, we literally, uh, Seth just said that yesterday, about that one person that we went and bought food from. It's like, wow, they were so nice. It's like you don't ever meet that anymore. People just don't like doing what they like.
yeah. There's too much negativity anymore.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Dude, I was listening to this. Damn, I was listening to this podcast with that I think it was Joe Rogan did with Jordan Peterson and this guy named Brent. Can't remember his last name, but he's like he is a scientific, like, what do you call it? He's a scientist, but his specific thing that he's into is evolutionary science or whatever. Um, Anyways, I had this whole long conversation. I cannot go in or tell you half of what they said because there was so much that they said. But check out the podcast and just listen to yourself because they explain it way better than I did. Um, but basically, they had a whole thing about um, politics and the polarization of it, and uh, how that could affect things. And it's like scary how true it is now, and what they were talking about 3 years ago, and like just about like it could happen but it might not happen, but it could happen. And they use all these like historical uh things
Like
historical, I guess,
occurrences.
yeah, that have happened before, and that's why they're basing their opinions on this, etc. Um, but it was also really interesting to hear them talk about, um, like, basically the idea was, you know, if things get too extreme, right, and people at the bottom and people at the top are too far apart, right? So when you get like very poor and there's this huge disparity between the rich, right? How, this is time proven over and over this has happened. There becomes a point where people get fed up with it and they upend it all, which isn't really good for, your lives. It like messes a lot of things up and you lose a lot by doing that. But it's very interesting to hear, how people are reacting to everything with Robinhood, etc., and how eerily similar what they're talking about in there 3 years ago and how so so similar it is to how everybody's taking it now. And it's like a little worrisome. So I don't want to get into it too long. But it was very interesting to hear him talk about it and just how like true it's ended up being so far with what they've said, like, and just like, this has happened many times ago and this is what happens when this happens. And basically they were like, we don't know how to fix it, but we definitely know that if it goes this way, this is what's going to happen. So it was very interesting. I would definitely, if you want to link it, maybe.
Yeah, I can
Not
leave
that,
it.
not that JRE, needs any more help, since he gets plenty of views. But the reason people watch him is because there's some interesting stuff on there. So I would definitely. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. I'm not sure where it was. It was at the more in the beginning than at the end. I'm pretty sure when they were talking about that stuff. It's like two super smart guys.
One thing you can count on is humans being predictable and history repeating itself. So I wanted to touch on something that I don't even know if it's really becoming a thing. I've seen it. Like someone made a TikTok, natural world we live in, but about
Wait,
some
is it? Hold on, sorry. What's the difference between TikTok and Vine?
Vine doesn't exist.
Nothing.
TikTok does.
Yeah, they're the
I'm
same
saying
thing.
though, but
Um,
didn't Vine go
it,
out of
it, it's
business?
yeah, it's the same type
Yeah,
of thing. It's just Vine didn't have traction. TikTok does.
Sorry,
Same
I don't something I just thought of.
same type of thing, except your TikTok videos could be longer than the Vines were because Vines were limited to like 20 seconds or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, so like they're trying to, and again, like I said, I don't know how much traction it's got, but I thought it'd be funny if it happened. They're trying to, like, they were talking about doing this to the hedge funds, and they said, now why don't we go after some more rich and just completely unfollow all celebrity accounts because they make a ton of money on their social media accounts for the amount of follows they have. And I
With like
think,
endorsements
yeah,
and
and
sponsors and
and so
ads
they're
and
like unfollow them for a couple months. Like the person who said it's like I know you love them and all that crap, but unfollow them for a couple months and see how it affects them. I think it'd be hilarious if we actually did that. I don't follow a single celebrity, so I can't actually be a part of it.
yeah,
But I think like if
yeah,
everyone actually did that and stopped paying attention to other like the rich's social media, not only would we be happier because we're not holding ourselves to that standard, we're not constantly seeing how much we don't have, also make them stop making more and more money on absolutely nothing, doing nothing but posting pictures.
yeah. It's actually funny that you say that because literally I got on Facebook the other day and I actually unfollowed two people that I follow that are celebrities because it's like, when I first followed them, they had like content and it was interesting, and sometimes it was like creative, like artistic. I'm not going to name their names. I'm not going to crap talk them or anything, but ever, the last 4 years it's gotten progressively worse where instead of talking about stuff that's interesting, it's just they're always have some opinion about politics. I was like, I'm just not interested in seeing people that's all they have to tell me about. So I unfollowed him. I felt kind of bad.
Oh,
followed him for years, but I was like, dude,
unfollow him.
I'm just so sick of it. Like,
Everyone unfollow.
stop talking about Trump. Stop talking about Biden. Stop talking about Obama. Stop talking about Democrats and Republicans. I
Yeah, it's
just don't
essentially
want
what
to hear
Twitter's turned
about it,
into.
dude. I don't want to. That's why I won't get on Twitter. There's nothing that interests me about Twitter. Like, I'm
Except for
sorry.
Talking Guys, we do have a Twitter page. In case
Yeah,
you
that's
want to
cool.
follow
That's
us
cool.
Yeah,
there.
I
Post
also,
updates.
Patrick, if you want someone who's not talking about politics or anything, you can go ahead and follow me right over my shoulder there.
Yeah, I know.
No.
You never talk about it. And
Shameless
that's fine.
plug.
Please keep it that way. At
No,
least,
wait, I'll keep it that way. Don't worry.
hey, when we're on something like this, it's like, okay, cool. Give a view, but I still feel like you should try and be as unbiased and unprejudiced as possible, and be willing to hear other ideas and sides of things, right? So you shouldn't just like be like, screw the elites and they all deserve to, lose all their money and everything. But
Yeah,
there's
let
probably
people
a
make
flip
their
side
own
to that too.
decision.
Right. There's probably a flip side to that too. But I mean, if you're doing something that is purely for entertainment, so you're just entertaining it. I think a podcast sometimes, while it is entertainment, it's also feeding ideas and stuff. So it's more, you have more leeway to talk about lots of different things and not get in trouble for it, because maybe next week we won't even talk about any political thing at all, the whole episode, right? But when you're an entertainer, like say a ninja, or like an
Ninjas
actor,
aren't entertainers, killers.
or a streamer, or a YouTuber that makes content for a game, whatever it is, for God's sake, put your persona on and go out there and just entertain people. Please don't remind us of how annoying the real world is,
Yep,
because that makes me so irritated.
that.
I
It's
don't want to hear it anymore.
exactly what I do on my stream. Like it is a way not only for me to escape, but I want people who come in and hang out to also be able to just like enjoy what's going on in front of them versus all the other bullshit that's
Shit
happened
in
in
the
the past
world,
couple
yeah.
of years.
Like, oh God, it's so annoying. It's toxic. It's toxic behavior when people start talking about politics all the time or whatever it is. It's not even just politics. It's just like really polarizing views on things. Whenever they bring them up, it's just like, dude, could you just please? We don't want any controversy. I'm just here to watch, this guy play League of Legends and enjoy him playing League of Legends
Not
and
this
watch
guy.
him flame and rage or whatever, do cool tricks on Rocket League, laugh, have fun with his
This guy.
friends. I do not want to see people talking about super serious stuff when like the whole reason I like them was because of their entertainment value, and that they, it's like a book. You read a book because books give a great story, and because they give you a break. I feel like an escape. It's like escapism, right? Same with games.
Yeah,
And
I
so it's
know
like,
we got
yeah,
basically time for one more topic. Just real
Agree, though.
quick.
I
I
definitely
followed two
agree.
people currently on Facebook, Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Gabriel Iglesias.
Follow.
I love Dwayne.
Follow.
Yeah. Oh, no.
He's my
Unfollow.
boy. He's so
He
funny.
doesn't need your damn money. Unfollow.
Oh, I'm not giving him money.
You're giving him money by your
By
following.
following him, you're giving him money to continue allowing him to be bald.
Yeah,
How does that make
so
you feel?
what? Hashtag unfollow. Gonna trend. Watch it.
No, he's either posting pictures of what he's eating for breakfast, tequila, or a workout. So, I'm
Or
cool.
something funny with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Which is honestly the only reason I like him. Is I just love their whatever.
The banter.
Yeah.
So we got one last topic today. We have a segment we like to call "Who Wins." It's where we take two people or characters, real or fictitious, living or dead, and then pit them to the death, and then we would debate and see who comes out the victor. We have a subscriber in Mansfield, Sean, that suggested this matchup. If you were interested in suggesting a future matchup, please let us know in the comments at Twitter or on Facebook. His suggestion is Scooby-Doo versus Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Already losing points for his name.
Oh, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah,
You watched this? Have y'all watched both shows, right?
barely.
I've watched quite a
But
bit of
I know
Scooby-Doo,
they both are not the bravest animals.
but Courage the Cowardly Dog, I I have not watched him enough. I was never into him. Um, so like, is he courageous or is he cowardly? Can you just give me a brief synopsis on who Courage is?
All right, so he is this little dog who lives with two elderly people out in the middle of nowhere, and usually deals with like spirits, demons, things that like visit and try to haunt the house. And initially, uh, he's obviously, you know, cowardly. However, though, towards the end of the episode, usually somehow he gets the courage, I guess, from his namesake, and is able to prevent, uh, I guess, the destruction of the house and the people living inside.
Okay, just off of that brief synopsis, I'm gonna go a hard no. I'm putting all of my money, all of my savings, everything in checkings, my 401k that I don't have,
Your
um,
GameStop
ev-
stock.
everything, my GameStop stock on Robinhood. I'm putting it all on Scooby freaking Doo because at the end of the day, Scooby Doo
I will
goes in
gladly take your money.
and he goes into scary places and he finds a way, you know. He might not be the brightest dog, but sometimes when it comes to a fight you have to have dumb courage, and when you're in a fight and you're scared for half of the fight, that's not good. That's no
I
bueno.
mean,
You got to come in
no,
full speed. Scooby-Doo is going to
no.
come in there, Scooby-Doo, oh, and just, and courage is just done, donezo. By the time he even
No,
tries to fight back, it's going to be too late.
no.
Too damn late.
You're wrong. I'll take your
You put him
money.
in an octagon,
Yeah,
it's over.
nope. Because I don't think I've. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of Scooby Doo, but I don't think I've ever seen an episode where he was not running away from something. Like
Mhm.
he is cowardly 100%. Courage is cowardly 50%. So I think that they're gonna run away from each other for a while in this little octagon, and then he's gonna get the courage and he's gonna win. Like, because I've never seen Scooby. The only time he's ever done anything useful was 100% on accident. Like, I just don't. I don't think he can do it.
Accidentally knock people out all the
He's
time.
not gonna be in an octagon though. How is he gonna accidentally do something? He can't just like trip over something or fall off of something and land on him. Like he's just gonna be in here with this thing. He can't accidentally do things.
So, to Scooby's credit, sometimes courage accidentally wins. So I'll throw that out there. Also, Scooby is most of the time in the kitchen with Shaggy, usually eating something
Yeah,
out of the
I wonder
fridge.
why.
They were high all the time.
yeah.
Uh,
It's a
I
kids
I
show.
honestly,
They wouldn't be doing the weed.
and for the majority of the runs, Scooby and the gang always ran into people that were dressed as monsters. There are instances where they dealt with actual monsters, but we're going to either A, ignore that and say this is classic Scooby Doo, so it's usually someone dressed up in a costume, or B, the fact that Scooby had help from four other people with Daphne, Fred, Velma, and Shaggy, whereas Courage is by himself and usually has to do it. Uh, if I can remember correctly, I believe there is someone that occasionally helped out Courage, um, but I don't believe it was very often. It's
well,
been it's been so long since I had seen the show, and I don't think I watched every episode because it was one of those shows, you watch as a kid, and usually by the time that it aired, for my age, it was in syndication, so the episodes were not in order, and I don't think I sat down in front of a TV and watched it each day. So
uh, to
Fair
end
enough.
with
Fair enough.
probably my strongest argument for Scooby. Are you ready for this? It's going to be brief because it's really just right there in front of you, and we don't have to say anymore. If you would please look down in our private chat, what word was written with a question mark? Okay, who in the forefront of your
We are
brain?
not sharing
Scooby.
our
We
private
didn't put
chat.
Courage. Do you want to talk about Courage? It was Scooby because Scooby is the man. Okay, that's
He
my
also
argument.
he also left a question mark after it,
Yep.
as in
No,
he wasn't sure that he would win.
don't put that. That's cheating, and it was
Yeah,
after the
and
fact. After I
so I
pointed
just want
something
to
out.
say, if you could go ahead and cash out of your Robinhood stock and pay Will and I, that'd be
Hell
nice.
I
no,
think we won
Scooby
this one.
Doo's bigger. He's a big dog. Like this guy's not gonna win,
Yeah,
man. Y'all are
he's a big
crazy.
clumsy dog with no intelligence.
You know what? And Courage is a coward.
Scooby's a
But his
coward.
name happens to be Courage. Okay, that's it. I don't bet on cowards.
I mean,
Okay?
so in the comments, let us know. But I think Will and I are right.
Yeah.
I think we won this argument
What?
really
Will
before it
actually
even
chose
started.
Courage?
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I'm choosing Courage.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have an idea for a future Who Wins, please let us know. We are always taking suggestions and giving shout outs. So, what's your name in an episode?
I would like my name in it.
Nope.
Or to add on to that, if you have an I am an asshole. Is he an asshole or not? Whatever. How do we say that again, Will?
Yeah, it's Am I the Asshole?
Am I the asshole? If you've got any of those, I like doing those too. So if you come into contact one, maybe a personal one, you don't have to tell us. But if you got one that's like really good and you're just curious to see what we have to say about it,
Change up some names
please.
on it. Let us
Yeah,
know.
no, actually, no, as
Yeah.
personal as possible. Please send us all the
Please,
information. We
personal
will
as
change your
possible.
name.
Yeah, and we will change your name, but know what really happened and who it was against. So then we can, look at you and be like, I'm judging you.
Judges.
Awesome.
Judging.
Part of the fun.
I'm so judging you.
Cool. I think that's going to be it for us this week of the Talking Guys. We are now officially 3 people away from 100 subscriptions.
So if
we have a century
if all
worth of
3 of us subscribe, we'll be there.
Wow.
So
Really, Seth?
yeah.
Really? Well, you guys aren't subscribed? Come
Oops.
on, guys.
Oops.
Nope.
Unreal. Okay. I see where the support really lies.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just here for the free food.
There's food.
There's food.
Nope.
All right, cool.
Damn.
I have not gotten a bite the entire time.
Yeah, I've gotten ripped off. Although I did eat banana pudding and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And there's an Am I the Asshole, but we won't get into that one.
Maybe next week. Let's leave with that.
No, that's true though. Definitely an asshole. We'll just leave it at that. But we appreciate you watching. Please like, click, and subscribe. Dude, I cannot talk.
Clip.
Clip
Clip that.
clip, and subscribe. Hey,
Make
if you
sure
want to
you
clip
clip us.
something that was funny, be our guest. You can clip it, throw it out in the world.
Tag us.
But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us, man. Appreciate y'all being here.
Guess
Right?
that's the show. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good
As
one.
we always, deuces.